Aurum Beauty here. Ola Lauren.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you are seated and you can hear me clearly, I will appreciate it that you come sit in the middle. Please, let's use the middle column and ensure that we have no space behind us, sorry, in front of us. If you are outside and you're not a vendor, please, you're expected to be in the auditorium at the moment. Please, let's ensure that we fill the middle column. Please, we don't want anyone seated at the two far ends of the hall. Let's use the middle column and ensure that there is no empty space in front of us. Thank you as you comply. Please, let's ensure that there is no empty seat in front of us. And if you are not seated in the middle column, Thrive Business Summit 2025, and we are more than excited to host you here this morning. We believe that immediately after this event, you're definitely going to be learning the dynamics to achieving sustainable growth in a turbulent economy like the economy of Nigeria and other turbulent economies. This conference is going to equip you to become an independent growth master and also teach you how to navigate it. I want to first say congratulations to you for being here this afternoon. I assure you that it's not by coincidence that you are finding yourself this afternoon. So before I proceed, I would like you to give yourself a round of applause for making it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for yourself. All right, I can see the way you love yourself by the energy you are using to celebrate yourself. It shows that you don't love yourself enough. Please prove to me that you love yourself enough by doing a resounding round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, once again, I say congratulations to you for making it down here this morning. We're kicking into it right away. I am John Akunjo, and I am so excited to be your host. And alongside myself, we would be having Sophia Abadwe to be our co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sophia. So together, we're going to be riding the ship of this event. You're welcome, Sophie.
Thank you very much, John. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you today? And are you pumped about today's event? Are you ready for today? Okay, let me ask this. Are you just trying to survive in this economy, but you are ready to thrive in it?
Please, if you're responding to the question, you are free to raise your voice. No one is going to
Exactly.
arrest you.
Nobody. It's free to talk.
All right, if you are a business person, can you raise your hand? You are seated and you do business. Okay, if you are seated and you work in the corporate sector, can you raise your hand? Okay, if you are seated here and you do something that brings you money, can you raise your hand?
What if what I'm doing is illegal?
Oh my God. Okay, well, we're not here for supporting illegal stuffs. Yeah, so I just want to know anyone who is currently seated here and is doing something that brings you money. Okay.
Legally, please.
Yeah, okay, legal. Okay. You're doing something that legally brings you money. I want to do a quick survey. Now, we're going to be clapping on the velocity and tempo of our clap at the trade fair stand. Sophie.
All right. Thank you so much, John. Once again, you're welcome to Thrive Business Summit 2025. So let me do a quick roll call. If you've been here for the 5 years this has been in existence, let me see you by the show of hands. If you've attended the first, second, third, fourth, fifth editions of Thrive Business Summit. All right. If you've attended 4 times on the row, let me see you with a show of hands.
Okay, nobody.
Okay.
4 times. You attended year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5.
Year 5. Yes.
Nobody.
What about year 3, year 2, year 3, year 4? Sorry, 3 times on the row.
Year 3, year 4, year 5. Anybody?
Thank you very much, John.
All right, we have just one person.
I think I'm part of them as well. Please put your hands together.
The year's features trade fair, and this year is not just featuring trade fair, it is also featuring career fair and a business grant. So if you know any of your friend who is into business and needs funding, you could quickly pick up your phone and call your friend. No baffle, just wear your clothes, they come. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do that because in the process of the person having his or her bit, another person might have come to take the person's chance. So please, what I'm just saying in essence is that call your friends, ask them to hurry and come down here. Yeah, as area fair. So we're just going to walk you through. Please, if you want to clap, you can
Please
clap.
A round of applause. Thank you.
We're briefly just going to walk through the vendors that we have at this year's Thrive Business Summit. In no particular order, ladies and gentlemen, we have Sona's Collection. Please put your hands together. One of the leading jewelry vendors within this vicinity and emerging across Lagos, Nigeria. Once again, please put your hands together for Sona's Collection.
All right, we have, this is a very innovative one. I love it very personally because she's a woman in a field that is not really dominated by women. I'm speaking of Gervais Vu, a footwear vendor in this environment, and of course, emerging into the global scape.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think the ladies should even clap better if the gentlemen are not clapping because
she's thriving in such an economy as this.
Creative ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have the #1 uncontendable Ceci Drinks. Ceci Natural Drinks. She's excelling in all kinds of natural drinks. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for BB Scent. If you want to smell good, elevate your essence, then you should go to BB Scent.
Sophie, you mentioned something. You said if you want to smell good, like smelling good
is an option, right?
It isn't an
I take
option.
that back. You should smell good.
Yes.
Please go over to
So,
BB
ladies
Scent.
and gentlemen, I personally, I am telling you that before you leave here today, it is compulsory for you to patronize BB Sense. The economy is already turbulent. Let's not add turbulent odors.
I remember 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
I was heading home and then I took a vehicle and somebody stepped into the vehicle
and changed the atmosphere.
It was terrible. You don't want to be that kind of person, please.
So it's not just about you don't smell good or you have body odors. No, it's just the same way you apply makeup to your face. It's the same way you should wear nice scents. So once again, please let's put our hands together for BB Scents. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have another lady. It seems the ladies are leading. I think the ladies should be clapping better.
It's a women world.
Women supporting women. We also have #1 Africa vendor, ladies and gentlemen, Abike Apparel. Abika Apparel is skilled in making vintage wears. She makes unisex wears. She makes great wears, and she has a stand outside. She also has all of our products or maybe just some of the products outside for display. I implore you to please patronize before you leave here. We also have...
All right, we have another lady. I mean, the women are indeed winning. We can because they are doing it. Please put your hands together for Haircraft by Duni. She sells beaded accessories for your hair, for your looks, and all other accessories. Please put your hands together.
Just additionally, for my ladies who love spoil Sophie, you're not going to imagine the beauty I just saw her transform a key holder into.
Are you serious?
I'm speaking about Abike's apparel. It's not your usual key holder. So
no,
please,
you mean Aircraft by Duni?
Yeah, sorry. Aircraft by Duni that makes bead accessories. So ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies, once you have the opportunity of stepping out, please stop by at Aircraft by Duni Bead Accessories to check this key holder that I am speaking about. And she still also has many more products. Ladies and gentlemen, you are seated here and probably your stomach is rumbling already. I'm going to leave you to Sophia to introduce the next vendor to you.
Sophia. Right. Have you tasted a jollof?
No.
I like to call the jollof
you probably
signature.
Have not tasted signature jollof.
Please, before you leave this place today, make sure you taste this one jollof. And I'm speaking about, ladies and gentlemen, Ronic events. They are good and amazing when it comes to your stomach. They can take care of your tummy, I promise you. Please go over to their stand at the end of the event to help yourself out with something delicious.
Yeah, this is not firewood jollof, but it is Ronic event jollof. And many more dishes that you should ensure that you patronize. They do not just sell foods. They are also skilled in event planning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last on the list, but by no means the least. Please, we also have in the house, or sorry, in the under the tent, in the category of the vendors, we have Nature's Raisins International. These people sell herbal products and they also run medical tests. They came here with their mobile equipment, so you could want to check their stand if you have some kind of tests that you want to run. So ladies and gentlemen, there are some special persons in our midst. This morning, Sophie, we are privileged to have these people in our midst this morning. And please, before I mention their names, I just want you to keep clapping. Keep clapping. Please put your hands together.
I'm excited to
I
know
want
them.
to mention the names of these people, and I would really like you to clap as we celebrate them. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we celebrate you.
I'm sure you were wondering who are those special people. You are, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. Is this the best you can do for yourself? You are celebrating yourself. Please put your hands together for yourself. A resounding applause, I must add.
All right, moving on in today's event, we are going to be we still have quite a number of vendors, and as we come up, we're going to be mentioning their names. But quickly, I would like you to please put your hands together for one of our great and seasoned speaker who also happens to be the presiding leader of this center. Ladies and gentlemen, seated humbly behind you is no other person than Mr. Pastor I know Mobola Jite Bitope. Ladies and gentlemen,
a round of applause, please.
Is this how you're going to celebrate a leader? All right, moving on, we want to take a moment to see a video. I assure you, or we assure you, that it is going to be a phenomenal event.
Of course.
Please stay relaxed. Do not be distracted as we journey through Thrive Business Summit 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be leaving you now with your eyes glued to the
multimedia screen
to view this video for the next 15 minutes. Set your hearts ready to receive. Once again, let's put our hands.
Shalom, shalom. My name is Oluwagbemileke Adeboye. Your most humble messenger, brother, and friend in you.
As a business person, the environment of your country does not limit you. It has limitations. Listen to me. It has limitations, but it does not limit you. Why? Because the God is more than able to make a way for you where there seems to be no way. As long as you're working according to his own word. What will happen? Projects will come to my door. Duty. I said, but Lord, you will make me 10 times more prosperous than my competitors. I said, I will not do what they do, but the toil that I make following you, you better make it far more profitable than what they do. So when at 38, as a business person, the environment of your country does not limit you. It has limitations. Listen to me. It has limitations, but it does not limit you. Why? Because the God is more than able to make a way for you where there seems to be no way, as long as you're working according to his own word. What will happen? Projects will come to my door that will work out because I'm not ready to pay somebody a bribe. That's fine. That's a project I'm willing to lose, because in losing that project I gain God, because I'm standing for Christ. But in doing that continuously over time, God rewarded me with some of the things that you see now. I remember saying to God, I will not bribe. I will pay the correct duties for furniture as it comes in. At a point, it was 100% duty. I said, but Lord, you will make me 10 times more prosperous than my competitors. I said, I will not do what they do, but the toil that I make following you, you better make it far more profitable than what they do. So when at 38, I built the Chair Center, House of His Glory, and people were wondering, because on my 40th birthday, I was exposed. Because that's when a lot of people realized how young I was. And I had done some things that they didn't align with the age at that point in time. But what's age got to do with God? What is he? Arugbo Ojo? Ọlọ́run àgbàlagbà. Is the God that is able to do much more than you can do with you. So the season, the environment of business in Nigeria has a limitation, but cannot limit you. Because as you're following God and you're following his rules, he will make a way for you through the most difficult seasons. You will choose not to pay bribe, and some will penalize you for it, but God will compensate you for it. And how will God compensate you for it? He will order your steps in other directions that help you to prosper without those compromises. You know, that's how I found myself moving more to the wholesale end of the business than to the retail end of the business, even though we have a retail line. What does that mean? I used to say that we couldn't go after government contracts because we can't do the things that are involved. But I then used to pray that, Father, fill that contract until they find me. Go and read. The Bible says, I think it's is it 60? My gate shall continually be open. It shall not be shut. Isaiah 60. It shall not be shut day or night for men to bring unto me the wealth of the Gentiles and their kings in procession. When they have finished the midnight meetings, they will not find a place to do it until they find me. And it used to happen. Because somebody will have a contract from Warri, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and you see, they have no ideas. They have no imagination. Which is why, as a Christian, you cannot play in the space of mediocrity. If you're a child of God, you must understand that your God is a God of excellence. And in doing things excellently, you position yourself for advantage. Which means that you don't say, I'm going to pray and I will sell this product. The product must be the right quality that any person that is seeking that product must want. Such that the guy who has the capacity to get the job does not have the capacity to deliver the value. But you have already created the value. He will do the hard work for you, but he must find you. You cannot sit down and pray that God should bring people to come and buy your poor quality work. You have not honored God. Because when it falls apart, you dishonor God. The Bible says, show me a man that is diligent in his ways. He will stand before kings and not mere men. The spirit of excellence is a part of who we are. We are supposed to show forth the glory of God. When you are the light of the world, you are the example. That means when people are talking about whatever product segment you're in, they must use your product as the reference point. And it's not about size. We are now in a globalized world. What you produce in one room from day one. Yoruba people say, Omoto ma jashamu, ati kekere loti. Which means that from day one, you know that your vision is to deliver to America, to London, to Japan, your products. But you're foolish enough to sit down and say, hey, this one is just for Nigeria, so it doesn't have to be the best. You know, your foundation tells me where you're going. If you are not used to doing things right, when you should do it right, you will not do it. Because you're already used to doing things wrong. If you are used to cutting corners, when you shouldn't cut corners, you wouldn't know how to. Let me tell you something that happened. There was this year that government, customs decided to do their work. And in deciding to do their work, they shut down the port, opened, and decided that if you had any shipment at the port, you had to bring your document. They will open your containers. They will take your paper and align it with what is inside. And if what is inside is correct, and you are paying the correct duty, you pay the duty, you collect your goods and you go. But if not, they will take records of everything that is there. They will apply the right duty. And then for everything that you declared wrongly, they will charge you 50% more as penalty. Voila. You should have seen the ports. Because most people were never used to declaring the right quantity of product, paying the right duty. There are people that never showed up at the port because they knew that they could never afford what they would be charged. So they lost the goods and everything. There were people that now had a problem selling because they had priced their goods on their wrong valuation. They didn't even know what their costing was because they had never paid the right duty, never paid the right port charges. They were literally smuggling. When you're smuggling, everything you add together to determine your price will be wrong. And therefore, the price at which you've been selling for a long time might have been the wrong price. And you might have thought that you were being profitable at the price that you were. But actually, when you apply true cost to your goods, you will find that you're losing money. And so when they got to the point of being faced with their real cost, there were many businesses that couldn't kick off. And I know people that their businesses died till tomorrow. But thank God for choosing to follow Christ. We had almost 10 containers at the port at that point. And I kept saying to myself, Lord, what if we were not used to doing things well? What if we were not used to doing things right? Where on earth would I have ever found that kind of money to pay, let alone take out the goods? So we were used to costing but having a much smaller margin than they have always. With a small margin, give me turnover. So that my turnover multiplied by my small margin guarantees that I make more profit than these guys. And so I was driven by turnover. They were driven by margin, but their margin was false. And in the time of trouble, a lot of people's goods were stuck at the port, and I had goods to sell. What do you think happened? Listen to me. Environment of man and the environment of God, two different things. But if you're a child of God, you determine your own environment. You choose God in every situation. And don't say, it's this Nigeria. No. God knew when he placed you in Nigeria. But when he placed you in Nigeria, he set the rules for how you should do things. And he didn't change the rules for those that will do business in Nigeria. The word of God is applicable in every square inch of the earth. And God himself is more than able to keep you and to perfect that which you do, wherever it is. My business will be 26 years in January. True. And in those years, we have suffered, we have paid prices along the way, but we've kept going, trying to do it by the word. That's why I wrote a book called Business His Way, and was doing a program on TV for a while with my own money, just to share that it is possible. And as difficult as it seems, the environment of your life is the environment as per the word, not the environment as per the world. It is as you follow God, when you get to a point that you don't understand what to do, the Bible says, does anyone lack knowledge? You should ask. The Bible says you will hear a voice telling you which way to go, whether you should turn to the left or you should turn to the right, that you might walk in it. I have found that a scripture of power for me. Many times when you're at a point, you say, Lord, help me here. We fought a battle of recent. We had 7 containers that a custom officer decided to classify wrongly and wanted us to pay what we shouldn't pay. And my people know there's no need to ask in my company whether we should do this or that. My people can give the answer to everything. It's become the culture. If you're standing for God, you must build an environment and a culture of righteousness in your workplace, such that whether you are there or not, the people who work for you must know what you will do. They must understand what is important to you. I remember that we had an offer to do a project for one of the states, and somebody called and wanted to say, okay, this part has been assigned to you, but you're going to need to put 20% of the money is going to have to go to that. The person didn't even need to ask me. The person they were talking to just said to them, sorry, we don't do that here. And the guy thought they were joking. He said, no, we don't. He said, even if I talk to your MD, he said, even if you talk to my MD, she won't have any other answer for you. We had another time that someone wanted a certain amount for every unit of security door. My head of that division didn't even have, and they were going to buy 750 million naira worth of goods. The money didn't change her position. She said, I know my MD, don't even bother. We don't do that. But you know what? When she called me, I was on holidays in America. I said, you know the answer, why are you calling me? She said, I've already told them, I just wanted you to know. And I said, forget it, go on. But that night, something welled up inside of me. I remembered something Pastor Bimbo Odukoya used to tell me, that no, you don't want to do what they do, but it doesn't mean you give it up to them. So I decided, I said, Father, on account of unrighteousness shall no man steal my grounds. I said, as long as this contract exists, and we are qualified for it, and somebody wants us to lose it because we will not do what they will do, Father, I turn it all around. I declare that we take this project, but we will not compromise. Do you know, 2 days after, they called us. We got the project, and we still didn't compromise. Why? Why? They then found out, they realized, between our product and the product of the competitors, durability is 10,000 miles apart. And when you analyze it, the durability translates to cost of maintenance of the goods over a long period of time. And ultimately, they understood buying ours was key. So they chose to buy that and bought some other ones from the people that will pay them to use in some other places. No problem. That's not my business. In fact, I have situations where people come to you and say, we don't do deals. They will go and look for somebody else and award the contract to, and tell the person that, but what I want is at the chair center. So go and buy it there and supply it to me. That one is not my own problem. I will get the benefit, they will get the punishment.
The global AI market is projected to reach $1,770,000,000 by. Do you have the skills needed to seize this opportunity? Build.
That was super insightful, was it? Was it insightful? And you know, the good thing about it is the fact that it tallies with our theme for this year. Our theme for this year says that achieving sustainable growth and productivity in a turbulent economy. You know, when we are in times like this, it's easier for people to want to begin to cut corners. So that's the next thing that comes to the head. If this right way is not going to work, maybe we'll just have to go through the next route. But here's this insightful video that we just saw, sharing the story of Madam Ibukun Awoshika, how she has stayed true to herself and how it has helped her over time. You know, the beautiful thing about this event is that we are gathered here and we brought in speakers, lineup of speakers who are not just believers, because it's easy for young people to say that the economy is tough. These people are not understanding what we are going through. But they are believers who have faced similar challenges. They have adapted to these challenges and they have found ways to grow. So they are going to be speaking to each one of us in this room this morning. So I tell you, whether you're a business owner, a startup founder, a career professional, opportunities abound here this morning. It's up to you to open up yourself, to want to learn, and I promise you, you will leave here changed in the best way possible. Please, a round of applause again for that insightful session. Whilst we were watching the video, two very important personalities walked into the room, and it is my utmost honor and pleasure to recognize the presence of one of our speakers for this event, Mr. Femi Luther Abegunde. Please, a round of applause. Thank you. And the next person, I would like to say that she is a pair. She is a part of the complete pair of the vision of the person whose vision we are seated here this morning. You're wondering who I'm speaking about, right? I'm talking about no other than Mrs. Funsho Gemini. Thank you so much for coming, ma. We love you. Thank you very much. All right, let's keep this momentum going because we will be introducing our first speaker for this event. Please, thank you very much. Please make sure you take notes, ask questions. Permit me to borrow this pidgin adage. Who they ask questions, no they miss road. Ask questions, be open to learning, connect with people, because I tell you, today is your day of growth, and you never know, maybe the next Dangote is seated beside you. So be very open to meeting new people, asking lots of questions, because your voice matters even in this room. With very much honor and pleasure, permit me to read out the bio of our first speaker for this auspicious event. Thank you very much. All right. Mr. Mobolaji Temitope Ainom is a multidisciplinary and multi-gifted personality. He is a pastor, a chartered accountant of over a decade experience, public accountant, forensic accountant. Please, you need to do that. Thank you. I hoped for it and it did came. Writer, author, investment expert, tax expert, and a chief accountant at Lagos State University. Please, a round of applause. As I keep calling all the credentials, you should put your hands together. Thank you. Mobolaji Temitope is an ardent participant at both local and international conferences and seminars. He is a member of several professional bodies such as Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, Institute of Strategy Management, Nigeria, Nigeria Institute of Management, and etc. Thank you. Mobolaji Temitope is a Christian minister, coach, inspirer, speaker, teacher. The applause can be louder, it can be sustained also. And the founder and president of This Is a Counter, a ministry commissioned to influence young people to stay committed to God and spur them to fulfill their God-given purposes. Mobolaji Temitope is currently the lead pastor in charge of RCCG Noah's Ark, a parish of RCCG for youth and young adults. A church committed to building a people after God's heart, unleashing glory in every corner of the world by bringing young people together into the unconditional love of Christ, transforming them into men and women passionate about influencing their world for Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, with Jesus' joy, of course, a standing ovation. Let's make welcome Mr. Mobalaji Temitokwe. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for that clap. Hallelujah. All right. Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, may we be seated. It's my utmost honor to be standing before this wonderful gathering. Of course, we want to thank God for the first year, the first edition of the Tribe Business Summit. The second edition was a success. The third edition was a success. The fourth edition was a success. And here we are here again. Can you just give Lord a round clap of applause? Give it to the Lord. We have kept us and preserved us up to this moment. And I want to also appreciate the organizers of this summit and also the visionary. And I ask that God will continue to guide them all through the journey of their lives in Jesus' name. All right. Yeah, the topic before us is a very timely topic when it has to do with the season and period we have. You know, achieving sustainable growth and productivity in a turbulent economy. Like one of our anchors said earlier, that an economy like Nigeria in a turbulent economy like ours. Of course, Nigeria's economy is not only the turbulent economy around the world, but please, we can use ours as the template for this discourse. Okay? Yeah, very quickly, I'll be looking at this topic from the angle of my profession as a financial expert. And I want to implore you, please, can get your pen, your biros, your jotter, and make sure you are taking note of one or two things. Yes, I'll be looking at three outlines. But it's very important for me to quickly state here the difference between growth and productivity. Of course, something can be growing and not be productive. I hope you know that. Yes, it's possible that you are growing in business, you are growing in finance, but you are not being productive. You know, productivity has to do with multiplication, you know, not just growing one particular thing. Maybe you're growing, yes, but if that business is just one branch, it's not being productive. Being productive is that you are reproducing yourself. That is being productive. You are reproducing yourself. You are replicating yourself. You see somebody opening a business in Lagos, before you know it, it's in Abuja, it's in Port Harcourt, it's all over the nation. That is productivity. And also, we should also know that it's God's intent for us that we thrive in whatever we do. We are not just here as business people, as entrepreneurs, as career people, but also we are business people, entrepreneurs, careers who are believers. So we are believers in those areas and marketplaces, and then we are going to make the difference in those areas. So I'll be looking at achieving sustainable financial growth and productivity in a turbulent economy. Achieving sustainable financial growth and productivity in a turbulent economy. But it's very important for us to also know that when we say turbulent economy, what do we mean? A turbulent economy is a troubled economy. It's a stormy economy. It's an unstable economy. An economy that is not predictable. You see one thing today, the next day you see something else. So it's an economy that you cannot easily project your future income or earnings. So, and I would like to just quickly give us a brief overview of Nigeria's economic challenges between 2023, the present administration, between the time he came on board until now. Brief overview of Nigeria's economic challenges between 2023 and 2025. It will interest you to know that Nigeria's economic rising inflation, between 2023 and 2025 got to its peak at 34.8% in this. When purchasing power depletes, cost of living increases. I hope you know what we mean by purchasing power is that you have so much money but you can purchase little. What 10,000 can buy today, 2,000 can buy it 5-10 years ago. The same thing that 10,000 can buy. So the 10,000 is much, right? But it can only purchase little. So that is what we call purchasing power. The ability of what you have, the money we have, to be able to get what we want. So as purchasing power depletes, as a result of this rising inflation, cost of living increases. Although the inflation rate adjusted to 24% in January 2025 after the basing, experts warn against seeing this as a clear slowdown in price hikes. Okay, now there are certain things that have actually contributed to these economic challenges that Nigeria is facing, and that is one of them I've just mentioned: inflation. And you see, inflation is just a gradual rise of the general price level of goods and services. General price level of goods, and you can see in the last 3 years that we are looking at under review, we have experienced a lot of things in terms of unstable market prices of goods and services. The other one is current volatility, which has to do with our currency, the dollars. The naira has depreciated significantly from 623 naira 24 kobo per dollar in mid 2023, 1,501.45 per dollar in early 2025. This has contributed to economic instability. I said earlier that what we mean by turbulent economy is an unstable economy. So that has also contributed to economic instability. Number 3 is the monetary policy of the federal government. The monetary policy of the federal government. The CBN constructionary monetary policy, including raising the interest rate from 15.5% to 27.25%, aims to control inflation. But as they aim to control inflation, this has increased borrowing costs, cost of doing business, cost of capital. And if cost of capital increases, the repercussional effect even on the sales of the goods that you have produced. Is that okay? So in as much that they are trying to use it to control inflation, it has increased borrowing costs. Then the other one is fiscal reform, the various fiscal reforms that the federal government has also engaged in since 2023 to date. The removal of, for instance, the removal of fuel subsidies. I remember when the government came on board, the first thing the government announced was subsidy is gone. It's fine. It was so painful, but another time, experts believe that in a matter of 1 year, things will stabilize. And this is 2025 now. Things will still stabilize, I believe so. Right? Yes. Because by now we should be in wealth, we should be in abundance, because we expected that those savings that they have taken from subsidy should have been channeled to other areas of the economy, thereby positively influencing the economy of the country. So the removal of subsidies rather has raised petrol prices by nearly 500% within 1 year, impacting inflation and living standards of the residents or citizens. Okay? Now the 5th thing that contributes to this challenge is structural challenges. Structural challenges. This is talking about infrastructural deficits, infrastructural deficiencies in the society. Security issues are everywhere. We heard what happened in Benue State the other time. Farmers will go to the farm and they cannot just farm in peace. Before you know it, herdsmen will come. So there have been rising cases of security challenges in our country. You see? Then also the bureaucratic inefficiencies that has impeded ideal economic performance. So this has actually challenged the economy of Nigeria, resulting to a turbulent economic environment where doing business has become very difficult. Okay, the last one I'll be mentioning here is growth rates. Growth rates. Despite challenges we have faced in Nigeria, Nigeria's GDP growth rate, GDP is gross domestic product. Okay, Nigeria's GDP growth rate is projected to be 4.17% in 2025, with the World Bank forecasting a 3.6% growth rate. Now, what has been the resultant effect of these challenges I've just highlighted? What are the resultant effects? Number one, it has reduced purchasing power. I said that earlier. It has reduced purchasing power. Our women will bear witness today. When you take some money to the market, you will not be wondering that look at what this money could purchase, even though it was so much in your eyes. And when somebody says, I will pay you 100,000, you think 100,000 is much. You see, by the time you take that 100,000 to the market, by the time you finish entering vehicle to and fro, you discover that it is a peanut. So one of the effects is that it has reduced the purchasing power of individuals. So Nigeria faced decreased purchasing power and increased multidimensional poverty has come to stay. Multidimensional poverty. You know, number two result of that is business constraints. High interest rates. You know, we talk about increase in borrowing costs that has made it difficult for people to even get to the bank and obtain loan. And you see people who get to the bank, obtain loan, the economy is unstable. Even in order to pay back loan becomes problem. And one thing is that the moment you fail paying back the loan, there's what we call compounding rate of interest. It's not, you know, we did SI in school, a simple interest rate. There's what we call compounding rate of interest. So by the time you see it will now become so difficult to even manage the business, make profit and finance that capital. That's what we call cost of capital. Are you following me? So this also has increased high interest rate, and policy uncertainty has so much affected businesses, particularly in the agriculture and manufacturing sector. Particularly in the agriculture and manufacturing sector. Then the third resultant effect of this challenge is investment. Private investment remains cautious due to expensive credit and policy direction uncertainty. You know, people cannot just say he wants to go into an investment. While you are into that investment, before you know it, one thing or the other will happen. We have issue of power in Nigeria today. It has become so the amount of business people spend to generate power in order to fund their businesses, to keep their business going, is also high on the other side. So what are the importance of financial growth and productivity? What are the importance of financial growth? Financial growth and productivity are very crucial in an economy like ours. We are using Nigeria as a case study. Now, one of the benefits of financial growth is resilience. Resilience. Building financial resilience helps individuals to withstand economic shocks. You know, in a car, that's what we call shock absorber. Now, what it does is what? It helps the car to stabilize. It stabilizes the car. You see, when you get into a bulb with that shock absorber, your car will bounce. But when it's absorber, it stabilizes. And that is what it does when you have economic financial growth. It gives stability to you financially. Then the other thing is what? It helps you to grow business wealth. Business wealth. You know, it provides you a sense of security and reduces financial stress. Why productivity? You know, we are not looking at growth only. We are looking at also productivity. And I said earlier that productivity is actually has to do what? Reproducing what you have, not just growing it. Now, why productivity? We need financial productivity in order to what? To remain adaptable to the economy, adaptable to the system, adaptable to the environment that we are. What do we mean by adaptability? Ability to be able to live, to sustain yourself in any economy. And thank God we are believers. Thank God we are believers. There are some principles that as a business owner, as a believer business owner, once you apply it beyond what the other people apply, it works for us. It works for us. And I will not be shy to mention the principle of tithing. I can tell you that. It says to be able to adapt with every economic situations of any economy, be it Nigeria or outside the country, or any economy. So adaptability. That's ability to adapt to changing economic situation. We said we are in an unstable economy, turbulent economy, challenging economy, and troubled economy. In order to stay afloat, then we must work towards what? Financial productivity. The other thing that we need financial productivity is for efficiency. Improving productivity helps us as individuals and as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to maximize your time, your skills, and resources. Your time, your skills, and resources. Competitiveness. Enhancing productivity increases your competitiveness in the job market or in your entrepreneurial pursuits. In all of these, what do we stand to enjoy in a turbulent economy? What is a benefit of achieving financial growth and productivity in a turbulent economy? We mentioned one of the things that result that contributed to the turbulent economy, so that is inflation. We mentioned inflation. So when you achieve financial growth and turbulence, it helps you to cope with inflation. It helps you to cope with inflation. It helps individuals or business to cope with inflation and to maintain your purchasing power. Even when people are talking about things are very expensive in the market, you don't talk about it. It's as if you are not living in that economy. It's as if it does not even affect you. It's as if you don't even belong to that space. So you are able to cope with inflation. Number two things that it gives you is it helps to manage uncertainty. Uncertainty, not knowing what is going to happen. Now, in this case, once you're able to achieve financial productivity and growth, whatever happens, you have enough shock to absorb it. You have enough shock to absorb it. So building financial resilience and productivity enables individuals to be able to navigate economic uncertainties. Also, another benefit of this in a turbulent economy is seizing opportunities. If you're able to have financial growth and productivity, there are some opportunities that will come your way. A man who has not achieved that, when such opportunity come, they are not able to grab it. Why? Because they do not, or they have not achieved that financial productivity. So opportunity will come, we stay in their faces and we pass them by. But for you who have been able to achieve this, you are able to seize opportunities. So growth and development or productivity of the finances positions you to seize opportunities arising from economic challenges. As the economy is challenged, as we are telling you, there are a lot of opportunities also that abound. Some people can no longer cope, want to sell their businesses. I hope you know that. Some who cannot cope, want to sell their products. They just want to let it go, and they want to relocate. Sometimes they say some companies are planning to relocate out of Nigeria. They will want to sell those companies. If you have built financial growth and productivity, you take advantage of such opportunity and you are stabilized. Is somebody getting it in this day? Okay. What are the key strategies to cope? What are the key strategies? Now we are going to the main thing. What are the key strategies? Number one, budgeting and saving. Budgeting and saving. Like I said, I'm speaking to us from the angle of a financial expert. Budgeting and saving. When you put in place an effective budgeting and saving habit, it helps you as a strategy. It places you as a strategic position in order to cope with all of these turbulence or storms that we are talking about. Budgeting and saving. In the course of the delivery, I'm still going to talk more on that budgeting. Investing in assets that appreciate in value. Not many a time we invest in what we call liability and not assets. At times, the question you ask yourself that, what do I gather? Is it liability or asset? Liability takes from you. Asset adds to you. Liability takes from you. Asset adds to you. So whatever is taken away from you is a liability. Whatever is adding to you is an asset. Whatever is increasing is an asset. So which of these two do you invest more? Then number three, strategy to cope is skill development. Ability to continually develop your skills. In the professional world, there's what we call MCPD, mandatory continuous professional program. So even as a career person, you keep continuously developing yourself. And even as an entrepreneur, in that thing you are doing, there will always be a better way to do it. In that your service that you have packaged, there is always a better way to package it that will attract the customers that you desire. There are some people, when somebody package granite and you see another person that package the same granite, the packaging determines the kind of people that you attract. The same granite, and also the package determines the price you are going to sell. You wonder, is it granite they sell this amount? If you even open, you wonder, is this granite they package like this? And you will see, man, there is a woman that I used to know in Festac. Even big guys, bankers will pack to buy maize from this woman. Roasted corn on the roadside. That is the way she packages it. And you wonder that if you see somebody branching to buy maize. You wonder that what are they buying? And you will see them, they will kill. They will even sit there with their suit and tie. They will sit there waiting for the next person's turn to get your maize and go. The same maize that somebody is packaging here. And of course, you don't expect them to buy it the same price that these people also will buy it the same maize. So, skill development. Number 4 is diversifying income. You know, in these days and time, we normally talk about multiple streams of income. So it is a strategy to cope with turbulent economy. When you diversify your income, income is not getting to you just from one source. You are able to have diverse sources of income. Then the 5th one is what we are doing today. Financial literacy is what we are doing today. Financial literacy. You know, acquiring financial education, empowerment, and literacy also makes you or enables you to make informed decision. Informed decision. Now, what are the key ways to evaluate your finance? What are the key ways to evaluate your finance in order to stay afloat in your finances in this turbulent economy? In order to stay afloat, in order to be able to what? To be sustained. Number 1, tracking your income and expenses. Tracking your income and expenses. I said this in one forum that I spoke recently, and I said, just go to the bank, even as an individual, request for your e-statement of account, your electronic statement of account. Let them send it to your email, print it and see. It will help you to track your expenses. Especially if you are somebody like me, I hardly do any transaction in cash. It will help you to, and why? Why do I adopt that? So that I can easily track my expenses from my bank statement. Check how much you spend on data. Check how much you spend on airtime. Check how much you spend on fueling your car in a week, in a month. Check how much you spend on these things. It will help you to be able to regulate your finances, your expenses. So, ability to track your income and expenses. Number 2, you create a budget. What is a budget? A budget is a financial plan for yourself. A budget is a financial plan for yourself, outlining your source of revenue, that is your income, your expenses, expenditure, and those things that enables you to move ahead in your finances. So you are able to create a budget and financial plan. Many times, if we accountants do this, they say, "Oh, it's because they are too stingy." No. They say they are too stingy. When you tell somebody, "Come and tell me, list it," at times, you know, it is well with us. Creating a budget and financial plan. All of this, that's what I'm recommending to you as an individual. Leave anybody aside. You yourself. Create a budget for yourself. At the beginning of the year, before the month ends, before that money comes in, write down the list of things you want. See, and be disciplined. Stick to it. If anything comes, it's not in my budget. We are talking about achieving what? Sustainable growth and productivity. Financial growth and productivity. In what? In a turbulent economy. So you must be able to create your personal budget, business budget, family budget, and financial plan. Then number 3 is ability to manage debt. Manage debt. Don't borrow what you don't need. Don't borrow the money you don't need. In fact, you don't borrow to acquire liability. Are you getting me? If you must borrow, you borrow to invest. And you borrow to invest the investment you have good knowledge and idea about. Not investment, not you borrow, commit the fund to a third party to do business for you. When the money goes down the drain, it's story. Of course, you are not an expert. You know that you are not an expert. He claims to be the expert. And with the next he's going to tell is what? Is the economy of the country. So please, don't borrow to acquire liability. Don't borrow to invest in business you know nothing about. If you must borrow for business purposes, borrow for investment purposes. Now, how do you track your income and expenses? I'm breaking it down now. How do you track your income and expenses? Very quickly, you record every transaction. That's where I'm going. You will say accountants are stingy or economists are stingy. You record every transaction you record, put it to record. There was a time when before I went for youth service, just trying to just get one or two things to do as a young man, I went to that Alaba because I understood that most of our Igbo guys, they just do the business, they don't have records. And as an accountant, and I began to meet them, make the proposal. And do you know what? It will surprise you. At least I have 5 persons who subscribe to my proposal. And this is one of the things I did to put myself together before I went for youth service. You see, a lot of people actually they desire it, but they don't have the culture. They don't have the discipline. They desire, they don't have the discipline. Now, if they not get somebody who can offer that service at a cheaper rate, they will accept it. You heard Mama Oshika now. It's not about the margin, it's about the turnover. It's not about the margin, it's about the turnover. If you have high turnover with your little margin, you will what? Catch up with the other people. So, record every of your transaction, write them down. Every income and expenses, no matter how small. How much today you get back home reflects on how you spend your life financially. Right now, how much you spent on this? How much is that spent on transportation? How much did I spend on, you know, some of us, if you don't put this record, you just dash money anyhow. We even dash money anyhow. You dash money anyhow. You don't dash money anyhow. I need to reduce this. Don't say we are stingy. Even money that you give as gifts, budget for it. In a week, in a month, this is what I give as gift. Except if I hear the voice of God, I have the budget, my offering for the month. For the month. As I collect myself, I know how much goes for offering for the month. Myself, my children, I budget it. I have it. So it's not a matter of there is no offering. And that is what budget also will help you to achieve. You know, we said it earlier. One of the ways to cope is what? Budget, financial plan. It helps to stay afloat. There is nothing that I don't have. There is no any emergency that will come to your way, and to you it may be an emergency to them, but to you it's not an emergency because you have planned for it, you have budgeted for it. So when others are saying there's a casting down, you are saying that what? There's a lifting up because you have budgeted for it. You have budgeted for it. So try to see the positive side of budgeting away from the what? From what you think is budgeting starts is to be stingy. Okay? All right. Also categorize your expenses. Housing expenses, transportation, feeding. You get it now. Know that certain percentage of my income goes for feeding, certain percentage goes for housing, certain percentage goes for transportation, certain percentage goes for this, goes for this. Categorize your expenses. Categorize your expenses. So that if anything will be added to you will quickly identify that which one is done. It's not budgeted for. It's not captured. It will have to stay the following month. Yes. It will have to stay the following month. Number 3, use budgeting application. We have some application like YNAB, then Mint. You can download them from the Google Store, Play Store. Then regularly review. How do you manage your debt? I've mentioned that. Let me move because of our time. Yeah, there's something I need to quickly say. In order to have a sustainable growth and productivity, build what I call a reserve fund. Some other call it emergency fund. Reserve fund. Remember the story of Joseph in Egypt. The first 7 years of plenty came, abundance came, and Bible said he reserved. And so because there will always be, the economy where is unstable. I hope you know that it's unstable. So the reason why you must have what? A reserve fund. It is very important that you build a reserve fund as what? In order to stay afloat of a turbulent economy. Now, why should you build a reserve fund? Number 1, for financial stability. Like I said earlier, even when things happen to people in an emergency way, to you, it's not emergency. Because you have something to what? To cater for it. What do I mean? You don't use your 10 fingers to eat. That's what your Bible will say, right? You don't use your 10 fingers to eat. How many fingers will we use to eat? 5. It means that we have the other 5. So there must be what? A reserve fund for financial stability. Say, provide a safety net for unexpected expenses, job loss, or economic downturns. There was a man, that retired about a year ago in my workplace, and after this man retired, this man approached us because I'm also a treasurer of a corporate society. The man approached us that he needed a loan. How should we can't give you a loan, you're already retired. How do we get our money back? But you know what? We observed that the house that the man was bidding was at foundation level, and now he's retired. Follow me. The reason why you need to have a reserve fund, emergency fund, and build it over time. Because of what? Financial stability. There can be job loss as a result of economic downturns. Number 2 reason why you must build emergency or reserve fund is what? It reduces stress on you. Nothing cashes you unaware. It reduces stress, financial stress. A lot of people are walking on the road. When you greet them, they don't even know that you have greeted them. They don't know. They didn't hear you because they're already stressed. And what is bringing this stress? It's not stress of family. It's not stress of job, but financial stress. They are calculating, how will I meet this? How will I do this? How will I? No, sir. Have a budget. It takes care of those stress from you. And part of what you must include in your budget as well is the percentage that must go to reserve fund. I'm running on. Then the next one is increase productivity. This is just a first outline. I have about 3 outlines, but let me just increase productivity. Then how do you build this emergency fund? Let me tell you, is a tactics. Determine your target. Determine your target. That in 6 months' time, my target is that I should have like 500,000 in my account in 6 months' time. That would determine per month 500,000 divided by 6 months. You know how much it is, right? You now know how much of this should be what allocated for reserve fund from my salary. And another thing must do out. That's what we call a standing order. You don't collect money and say you want to go and say no, you won't get it. Give the bank the instruction. Let them remove from the source and transfer it to a separate account. Discipline. If you say you want to get the money, then you now go and pay, is a lie. You will not. You will hear somebody needs money and you are a very, very compassionate person. What will you do? You will not throw away your face. You attend to that need. So, number one is that you must have a target. Number two, assess your expenses. I said it earlier that you categorize your expenses, housing, food, so that after you have taken care of your basic expenses, then you now know our portion will go for your reserve fund. Not that you have put your reserve fund, you now remember that I've not paid rent and landlord is already knocking. It shouldn't be. It should form. So you must be able to evaluate your expenses, then create a savings plan, prioritize needs over wants. Many of us, we procure what we don't need, just wants. And we have loaded our houses with wants and not what we need. Some of us, the clothes that you have bought, in the next 5 years, you will not even wear it. Why did I buy it not today? You say, you are saying there could be what? There could be increase in price of those things. Ha ha. So because there could be increase, you now bought it at all, even though you don't. Now the one you need, no money to attend to your needs because you have what? You have loaded your house with what? With worms. Then consider a separate account. I said it earlier. Consider a separate. Then what are the benefits? I've mentioned the benefits. Now investing for growth. You know I said it earlier that if you are placing investment, you must place investment in a way that, let me quickly mention this. You must be ready to invest for growth. Invest for growth. What do understanding of various investment options that will lead to what? To growth of your finance. Various investment options. Part of them is stocks. I mean, for those who bought GT Bank stocks like 3-4 months ago in May, GT Bank stock share was sold for 61 naira in May. Today, as of today, is 103 naira. Check the margin. 103 minus 61 naira. Assuming you are able to buy like 100,000 units, multiply 100,000 by the differential, you know what you are earning today. Stressless. Stressless. Stocks, which represent ownership in companies, offering potential for long-term growth. Then we have bonds, government and corporate debt securities. Then we have real estate, invest in real estate. Then also cryptocurrency, that is guitar currency, cryptocurrency. That is guitar currency. Please, don't invest with somebody you don't know, or don't invest into any business you have no idea about. Be warned. That is just a caveat. Please take note. Now, lastly, as I conclude, diversification of your strategies. Diversification of your strategies. That is what we call asset class diversification. It's like you don't put all your money on a particular asset. You are into real estate, just pack your money into real estate. No. Some can be in real estate, while some can be in another asset. Asset diversification. Then we have also geographical diversification. You don't put all your money in Lagos. You have a business in Lagos. That's why you see people having branches in Lagos, branches in Port Harcourt. So that if the economy of Lagos, how are you getting it? That is geographical diversification, which is also to achieve sustainable growth and productivity, even in the midst of turbulence. Risk management strategies. Many of these and that many of us run away from insurance. One that I go for